You're listening to the My Simplified Life podcast, and this is episode number 252. Hey, friends, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Michelle Glogevac. I recently read the book, New Happy by Stephanie Harrison, and it blew me away because she talks about old happy and new happy. And old happy has to do with how we looked at what in life makes us happy, how it's all about chasing the next big thing, trying to get more money, trying to get the promotion. And her new definition of new happy, or the new definition, is really about looking at ourselves and looking at other people. What can we do to help someone else to make their life easier that's going to make them happy? And in turn, it's going to make us happy as well. And I love this theory because I find it so true. And I do this with the kids at school. We have something called Project Cornerstone through YMCA. And we talk about filling our buckets, filling other people's buckets, and how when we fill someone's bucket, it fills our own. So next month, I'm going to have Stephanie on the show. I can't wait to discuss this version of New Happy with all of you and to dive deeper. But she said something last week that she has an upcoming post that's going to discuss how successful people rely on a lot of help, but they don't acknowledge that they have this help behind the scenes. And then those of us who don't have such help are left kind of wondering, how do we get to that next level? And we're looking at these people as the example, and yet we shouldn't be. And I want to talk about that because so often in life, especially as a mother, as a female, as a business owner, we have examples online of individuals who are quote unquote making it big. It appears that they have so much success and that they're just like us. It's this portrayal of, I'm exactly like you. I'm a working mom, and yet I was able to build this 7-figure business, that type of a thing. When in reality, these individuals are not really like us, and they do have a ton of help, but they're not talking about it. And I've talked about this before in regards to people like Rachel Hollis, when we saw her climb, and then it came out that she had a lot of money behind her and she didn't really have that dime that was left in her bank account. She had a husband who was an executive with Disney. So womp womp, you weren't really struggling like many of us are. And I want to talk about that because there are other businesses, online people who are portraying that they're doing it all. They are just like you and me, and there's just not enough time to do it all, but they're struggling and they're managing, and there's a lot of woe is me. And it's time to call BS on it. Because as I see videos of quote unquote, we don't have enough time to do this. Well, as a mom and as a business owner, no, I don't have time, but I make the time. We have priorities, and I am building a business. It has taken years for me to get to where I am. I'm also raising 2 children, not alone. I have a husband who's very involved, and I acknowledge that. But as a mom, there's a lot that we do. I am up every day at 6 a.m. at the latest. I am cooking. I feel like I'm a short order cook most days. That's my fault, right? And we have anything from bagels and cream cheese to the Elvis sandwich, which is toast and peanut butter and bananas made into a sandwich. This morning, it was 2 fried eggs and toast for one and scrambled eggs with pineapple sausage and toast for the other, because it's what they asked for. And I know that I can make eggs very quickly. But I'm still doing this, and I'm not going to ever say that I don't have time to do this. I will make the time. I'm also filling water bottles. I also take on the title of meteorologist because every morning, Mom, what's the high going to be? Should I wear shorts or pants? That's the question that goes on in our house, and I'm prepared for it. I'm the taxi driver who is shuttling them to school and from school and to ortho appointments and to soccer practices and carpools and everything else because I'm making the time. This is my priority. I'm also reading books. I'm also interviewing authors. I'm also creating this podcast. I am managing my work. I am the salesperson for my brand. I am doing presentations to people. I am traveling. We have time for this because we make time for what is our priority. But I don't have a chef. I am the short order chef, cook, etc. I am the shopping person at the grocery store. I am the taxi driver. I don't have a car and driver. I do not have someone to shuttle us around. We do not even have school buses because we live too close to the school. I am a team of, there's two of us, a third, when you count my editor, Matt, you're awesome. But essentially in the business, there's only two. There isn't a team of 20. There isn't a team of even 5. And the funding is me, myself, and I. It is me making sure that the sales are coming in so that way we can invest more in the business. It is not that there is some sort of funds that I drew from in order to create this business. And so I take a lot of heartburn and frustration when we see others portraying themselves as, I'm just like you, but you're not. And it's time to make sure that you, the listeners, you know that this is the truth. This is reality. And I don't want you and myself, because I go through this just as much as anyone else. And I know that if these are things that I'm feeling, then chances are these are what you're feeling too. It's not that we're not doing enough. We are doing an amazing job. We are putting ourselves out there. We are using our voice. We are stretched as thin as possible. We're in the middle of an election time. We're out there getting our voices heard. We're talking to friends and family members on these tough, tough things. And I want us to recognize that when you see someone who is quote unquote successful, who is making a ton of money or appearing to, who is showing up on TV screens and being interviewed because of their connections, because of who they know, it's not that they worked to this point to get there. And yes, they are working, they are getting there, but these connections were already in place along the line. I am an everyday person like you. I am a mom. I am someone who's worked in the corporate world for almost 20 years. I have started from scratch in all of this. And when someone says that they're tired of doing whatever, that it's too much, or look at me, I'm, working so hard with my kids, and yet you have the nanny too, and you have help, but you're not admitting it, all of the help that you have, that's not doing someone a service. You are doing a disservice to the rest of us, because so many are looking towards, what am I doing? I often feel the worry or the pressure of, why am I not further ahead? And I'm exactly where I should be. I'm getting this. I have a wonderful therapist, and I have amazing friends who listen when I vocalize these thoughts or concerns, because I am doing everything that you're also doing. I don't have help. And I also don't portray titles out of convenience. That's something that I'm also seeing more of I'm going to wear this hat because it's convenient and it's going to attract the audience members that I want to attract. That goes back to being the quote unquote authentic self. And you're not authentic if you're going to wear different hats depending on who you're talking to. I want us to take notice of this more. And I also want you to recognize that if you have any of these thoughts or feelings when you see people online, you're listening to a podcast, and this is what the host is saying, to really reflect on it. Is this the truth? Because oftentimes it's not. Oftentimes you are getting a version that someone thinks is going to attract the right audience, is going to attract the right customer, is going to somehow grow their business, grow their following. And if you feel that way, if you've got this inkling of, something is off, chances are you're not alone. And I often thought this must be me. I must feel this way because there's something going on inside of me. And when I will talk with a friend and say, you know what, I kind of have this feeling, yep, I do too. You'll find out that you're not alone. And I want you to know that you are not alone. And I want you to know this as much as I want myself to know this. I tell you all the time that my messages for you are just as much for you as they are for me, because I'm sharing them because it's something internal that's going on with me. It's something in my life that I'm also struggling with. And so I want you to get as much encouragement from it as I'm going to give to myself, because we all need it and we all deserve it. So if there is something that just isn't resonating with you, or maybe it resonates with you and then you walk away questioning, is that person really experiencing this? Chances are, if you question it, then the answer is no. Stick with your gut. Your gut is always right. But know that you also are doing an amazing job in whatever it is that you're doing. You are out there making connections. You are being the best parent if you are a parent. You are being the best friend possible. And you're doing all of this while being a human, while not having the help that people are paying for because they have those financial backings. I wish I had a housekeeper, and it's on the list. I would love to have one. Do I want to have a chef? Yeah, I would love to have a chef, but I also love cooking. The times I don't love cooking is when we have nights that we have to be somewhere and it's all very rushed and it has to be quick. Those are the things I wish I had help with. Do I wish I had more help in my business? Yeah, who wouldn't? But the thing is that I take time to read every single book of every author that I interview. I read every book of every single one of my clients. And taking the time to prioritize what's important to me is what's bringing me to where I am today. And I don't regret taking those times. I make time to not only shuttle my kids back and forth to school and to sports and to be at every game I possibly can be at, but to also volunteer in the classroom. I'm doing 1 hour a month right now. And that's a far cry from what I was doing last year. If you remember, an hour a week and sometimes more. 1 hour a month, but I get to connect with every single child in my daughter's class. And it's amazing to be able to do that. I am present on campus. They see me every single day when I do pickup, when I do drop off, when I do carpool. And these are the things that are important to me. And I would never say that I don't have time for that, because as a mom, I have time and I'm going to make the time because this is my priority. So I want you all to, the takeaway for this is to recognize that when you see something online, don't compare yourself. Don't look at another person and think, oh, look at all that they're being able to do and accomplish. There's something else that could be going on as well. They could have this hired help that is making them appear to be more successful than what they really are. There is the happiness factor of, are they as happy as they're going to portray? I am happy. I'm very happy. And it is this version of new happy that you're going to learn more about in the coming month that makes me happy, because I am filling other people's buckets and I'm filling my own bucket. And to witness the other online nonsense is to dip from the bucket. These are the lessons that I'm teaching the third graders right now. We don't need bucket dippers. We need bucket fillers. And whether that's coming from someone else or yourself, we can all fill our own buckets. And I think that recognizing that what you see and hear online is not always an accurate representation of what is going on will help you fill your bucket even more. That is my takeaway for all of you. Pay attention, listen to your gut, fill the bucket of someone else, but don't forget to fill your own bucket.